Hello everyone and welcome to the Christmas Countdown for 2023 from GWV. So here we go, been building up, doing 4 Christmas sneaky peekies, but now it is time to begin the formal and official countdown to Christmas 2023. And we're going to go through the CFS V2 12Z run at metrostella.fr. I'm going to see for the first time in terms of Christmas countdown what that CFS run is showing for Christmas. And we're going to be doing regular Christmas updates through the countdown right way up to Christmas. We normally have about 25 of these, so there's going to be a lot to data to get through. We did a shorter year last year. That's because I went to New York, you know, I had some days away, so we didn't do as many last year, but normally it's over 20, sometimes as much as about 24 or 25, so plenty of Christmas updates to come, and I shall get on with it for you in a moment. Just to say that first video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast released 10 to 14 there as well, so please check out all today's pieces of content. Search everybody for doing that. We're premiering this first installment of the Christmas Countdown. So hello, hey, yeah. So sorry everybody. Hello. What was that? Hello to all of you on the premiere. I hope you're having a lovely time. I'm sure we are. So hello to all of you on the premiere watching this with me. Now, thank you so much, Richard, for our amazing Christmas Day updates gift. Thank you so much. Thank you. That is amazing. I love it. That's one of my favourites that you've ever done, Rich. I was absolutely blown away when you sent that to me. I've got other gifts as well that you'll be seeing throughout this season of updates, but that could be the primary one because I think that is just absolutely fantastic. I love how the lights sort of light up in the house, so incredibly creative. Thank you so much, my friend. Wonderful gift. Thank you so much. I am feeling a little bit exuberant, as you probably notice. I've got my magic tea with me. Is it tea? Yeah, I'm a sherry, mate. I've had a mince pie and a sherry or 5 to celebrate the start of Christmas Countdown. No, thank you so much, everybody. Been on premiere. Thank you to Richard for the gear. Thank you. Right, let's move on to metrostella.fr. So, just a truth for what we're going to be doing with this. Of course, to start off with, we're just looking for trains. It's much too far away to get the detail for Christmas, you know, on the 1st of November. So we're simply looking for the trend within the CFS V2 model. So we're going to be using the CFS 12 then, right? I did open this up to a poll last week, and I thought like the pub run will probably win the 18 Z version of the CFS, but it turned out you wanted us to carry on with the 12 Z. So you know, who am I to argue? So we're going to, throughout the season updates, we'll be using the 12Z run of the CFS V2, and then we'll be able to make a comparison, you know, a direct comparison with previous 12Z runs, if you like. So if you start using different runs, you can't really make a comparison from one run to another. We're looking to try and find a trend within mind. We're going to start at the 3rd of December, run it through into middle of January. So we're looking sort of the first half of winter, really, which does include you know, that Christmas period. And as I said, we start getting the same trend appearing over and over again, and we'll be able to say that is the way that the body is currently trending. But of course, just because you've got a trend doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the right one. I think it was a couple of years ago when we actually had a trend for quite a cold Christmas. That was in 2021, I think. We kept getting update after update that was quite cold. And in the end, you know, it turned out that the model was leading us up the garden path, and we turned out to have quite a mild Christmas. Though Christmas Day itself was quite chilly. Anyway, I digress with that. So we're using the CFSB2 12Z run at metrostella.fr, and we're going to see what it's got to say right now. So we're beginning this on the 1st of December. And this first day of winter has high pressure to our south, low pressure wave to the northwest, bring wind in from the Arctic land. So relatively mild conditions to start us off. Oh, by the way, just to say as well, that when we get much closer to Christmas, about a couple of weeks out, then we'll discard the CFS, and we will move on then to the GFS, you know, to the shorter range model. And that's the point when we start adding detail into the mix as well, by the way. So that's all to come a little bit later on in the updates, about a couple of weeks before Christmas. Right, let's run through. So we start with the first week of December, and it's pretty mild here. High pressure south, low pressure to the north, so quite a mild start to December. High pressure ridging up from the south, but it's a mild bridge, but might produce some frost and fog in the south. And then by the end of the excuse me, by the here he goes, coughing again. By the end of the first week, in the second week of December, the high pressure beginning to slip southwards, so any frost risk would go away with that, and basically just mild with winds coming in from off the Atlantic. Right, let's try and get to mid-month. So then we're turning unsettled into a second week of December, and a little bit colder too. So high pressure pulls out to our southwest, low pressure dives into Scandinavia, and that pulls the wind into colder northwesterly. That could deliver some wintry showers, but very quickly the west-southwest is coming back in. So it's the middle of December now, pulling wind back up from the southwest again, so turning milder with high pressure collapsing down into France, Spain, Portugal, and as they were drawing up those milder southwesterly winds. Now, this starts to look quite interesting just after mid-month. High pressure then begins to build over Scandinavia. Whoa. That's exciting, isn't it? The deep cold is sitting across eastern parts of Europe. Is that high pressure over Scandinavia going to pull the wind into a bitter easterly for Christmas? Let's see what's going to happen. There we go. Right, so we're up to 17th of December with high pressure over Scandinavia. Try and turn wind into the east. What's going to happen? Exciting. So I think we're just going to miss out on this. It's a near miss. Wow. Most of Europe, particularly Central East Europe, bitterly cold there with plenty of snow. The high pressure is still there in Scandinavia, but it just isn't pulling wind into the east. So we're like drawing up a slack southerly southeast, which is probably quite chilly. So running up towards Christmas, we probably get some overnight frost and some fog, but the real cold, the brutal cold, is over on the continent. Now, up to the 21st of December, all looking very interesting. Got a bit of trough disruption going on here. That's where we bring this weather system into the west, and it's coming to quite cold out. That might deliver a little bit of rain, sleet and snow across the country. That Scandinavian high is still lurking there to the northeast. Is that gonna pull it off for Christmas? So the winds are actually beginning to back southeasterly now. Wow. As we get to the 22nd of December, yes, I think we started putting some quite cold air from off the continent now. Be southeast winds. It's not a proper easterly yet, but it's not all that far from it. Exciting right to Christmas. Maybe even bring a few wintry showers onto the east coast there. Now, Christmas Eve, what's going on here? So we've got high pressure still holding its ground over Scandinavia. Most of the deep cold is still from Germany back into Eastern Europe. However, we are drawing in a southeasterly wind, which is probably bringing quite cold air from off the continent. And a weather system is coming into the west. So as that comes into the cold air, is that bring rain? Or does it bring snow? There's a possibility that could bring something a little bit wintry. So we're up to Christmas Day. Wow. So, yeah, we've got a weather system coming in from the west. That high pressure is still there in Scandinavia. Cold to the air's away to the east. So rain and or possibly sleet or snow coming in from the west there as we get to Christmas Day. Probably quite a cold, dank sort of Christmas Day, I would have thought. Not completely out of the bounds of possibility that might deliver some snow. So that could possibly be quite a wintry-ish Christmas Day that we see there. The Atlantic is going to break through, though, I think. So if we go to Boxing Day, we are starting to push milder air in from off the Atlantic. Remember, we never really get a direct hit from the east with that. You get so very close to it, but it just doesn't quite give us a direct, proper easterly. And the high pressure begins to retreat away now as lower pressure comes in from off the Atlantic. I think that will be bringing milder air and outbreaks of rain in from the west for Boxing Day and 27th of December. However, that low pressure is beginning to dive southwards. So as we move towards the New Year, it's actually getting colder again, with winds going back into like an easterly. Now, the origins of that are like south of east. So normally that would be quite mild, actually. Well, not mild, but wouldn't be particularly cold. But because Europe, the continent, has been engulfed in the freeze up before Christmas, I reckon this will actually be quite a cold sort of easterly, that with the origins we originate from southeast, as you see what I mean. It's a very complicated pattern, this, but that potentially very cold actually, with those Easter wings just between Christmas and the New Year. Now, we're heading into the New Year, and the high pressure is still there, kind of, over Scandinavia, isn't it? With low pressure again coming in from off the Atlantic. So, battle, is still going on here in terms of the atmospheric setup. New Year's Eve probably turning milder. This low coming in, maybe outbreaks of rain preceded by some sleet and some snow. That's New Year's. So that's New Year's Eve, turning milder. New Year's Day looks unsettled and Atlantic driven. So, case of wet weather sweeping eastwards, followed by showers. It might turn a bit wintry in the north, but it's not particularly cold weather that we have there. So we're into the new year now, into early January, and the low pressure begin to shift eastwards again, start to pull colder air back in from the north once more. So through the first week of January, starting to turn colder with northerly winds, probably bringing snow showers into northern and eastern parts of the country, and high pressure reaching up from the southwest within that cold air, so that settles things down, but probably produces some quite sharp overnight frost. And now we are establishing properly mild air. So finally, the Atlantic is breaking through now, first time since the first half of December that we're into a proper southwesterly. So as we come to the end of the first week of January, turning milder, much milder, wetter and windier as well. So it looks like we go off and running then into a generally mild and unsettled spell of weather. Heading up towards the middle of January, won't go much further, heading up towards the middle of January, high pressure back in and trying to get to Scandinavia again. How interesting. So by mid-January, having another go to pull some more cold air in from the east there. Again, I think it's going to be a near miss. The high pressure just doesn't quite get far enough in Scandinavia, enough to bring in a proper easy. So most of the cold again is kept over Germany and eastern France and to the east of that. So once again, we have a near miss easterly there through the middle part of January. Does it ever get there with those easterly winds? Does it ever get there? I'm so sorry again, everybody. So let's see what happens. So, it's very inconclusive. Back to 26th of January, well beyond Christmas now. They're still trying to drag in that very cold air for you. So let's go a bit further on. Does it ever get there? Does it ever get there? Does it ever get there? So, yes. Okay, so we get to the end of January. Finally, we unleash it. Finally, we unleash the beast. After all those weeks of toying and teasing, look at that. We do finally open the door to very, very cold weather at the end of January and into the opening day or so of February before milder air starts tucking back in from west. We won't go any further than that, but we do eventually get a blast of really cold air there in the last week of January. Right, there you go then, everybody. That is your first Christmas 2023 update, and the countdown, the Christmas countdown is underway. And what an interesting update it was. So toying and so teasing that, wasn't it? But we did eventually get there with those easterly winds right at the end of January. So, do we class this as a mild Christmas or a cold Christmas? I think that's probably quite a cold Christmas, actually, to start us off. But, it could have been a lot colder if we had properly unleashed those easy winds, which we didn't. But I reckon that probably is quite a cold Christmas to start us off. Right, so the Christmas countdown is underway. So it's Wednesday today. We're probably going to do another one at the weekend. That will either be Saturday or Sunday, so watch your space on that. And as I say, we're going to have at least 20, maybe up to 24, 25 of these between now and Christmas Eve. So you're going to be thoroughly sick of the sight of it by the time we get to Christmas. You'll be as fed up with the countdown as you will be with that song, it's Christmas! It does get a bit bothersome by Christmas Eve, that song, doesn't it? No, your next Christmas countdown is coming up at the weekend. If you've enjoyed update number 1 for the Christmas countdown, then please give you a like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much to everybody who's been watching this with me on Premiere. I hope you've had a good laugh and enjoyed ourselves. You have a fantastic, wonderful rest of your Wednesday evening. And again, thanks to Richard for our gift as well, by the way. Thank you so much, Richard, for a lovely gift. Okay, we'll end it there. Update number 1 for Christmas Countdown is in the bank, and we're off and running. More Christmas updates to come. Watch this space, everyone, for this one. That's all for now, and thanks for watching. Merry Christmas.